Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf Hayomi Zevachim Daf Kuftes Zayin. We are holding on the bottom of Kuftes Vav Amud Beis, 3 lines off the bottom. Amar. Let's go back and review what we have learned yesterday. Until the Mishkan was built, one was allowed to bring any type of Baal Chai, any type of animal, kosher animal. It can be a behemoth, a domesticated animal, a chaya, an undomesticated animal, even a deer, right? Any animal, any kosher animal was acceptable. Amar hakoil, all types, were ksherin, were in fact suitable lahakriv. Minohan emili, how do we know this? Amar avhunam damakro, we have a pasuk from before the Mishkan's time, from Noach's times. Damakro, the pasuk says, Vayive Noach mizbeach l'Hashem, right? Noach built a mizbeach for Hashem. Vayikach mikol behema hatoira. He took from all the behemoths, mikol oif hatorim, all the kosher birds. And this covers all categories. Why? The word behema kimashmoy, as per its meaning, a behema. And we all know that in terms of terminology, chaya is bechlal behema. In the Torah, when it says behema, it refers to behema and to chaya. How do we know? Says Rashi, because there's a pasuk, zois ha-behema shetoichel, the following behemas are edible, and then it has ayol, tzvi, v'yachmer, which are chayos. Chaya is also considered under the behema umbrella. So he brought all types, behemas, chayos, for karbanis. Apparently, it was perfectly acceptable at that point in history. And the Brisa also told us that you can bring zecharim or nekeves, male, female animals, tamim and unblemished, and even blemished, ubalimumin. And let's skip over to the other side of the bracket here. Lafuki mechusar ever deloy. Slightly blemished is okay, but a mechusar ever, it's missing an entire limb, missing a finger, missing a hand, that's not acceptable. Even before the Mishkan's times, even at Ben Noach, before Klal Yisrael came into being, an animal which is blatantly, blemished, missing a limb, that's not acceptable. Deloy. How do we know? De Amar Rab Allah. Menayin. How do we know lemechusar ever? Shenasel b'nei Noach. Even b'nei Noach cannot offer a mechusar ever as a korban. Talmud Leimar, we have the pasuk again backed by Noach. Hashem instructs him to collect, representation of all the different types of species. Umakol achai, mikol basar, bring a little bit of each, right? Kosher, you bring 7, non-kosher 2. The term mikol achai tells us that the animal you're going to bring into the teva has to be complete, full, whole, not missing any, visible limbs. So, what's the point of that? Because Hashem knew that He's going to take some of them and use them as a korban. And that's why Hashem laid down this requirement. Nothing visibly missing. Torah is instructing him. Only gather together behemoths which are complete in their limbs. Rashi Ivar, and the tips of their Ivar, meaning the limbs, the extremities, the fingers, the hands, right? Ivar, the Rashi Ivar Shalom. Mukalachai means complete. How do you know? Perhaps even missing a limb would be okay. Mukalachai is telling you that a treifa is not acceptable. Right? An animal with an internal wound, critical wound, which is not really going to live, right? Which can't bear offspring, well, that's not acceptable. But if it's male missing a hand, a foot, maybe that's okay. Says the Gemara. Oh, that's learned from the other pasuk. L'chayes zera. Only animals which can bear offspring. And that rules out a treifa, which now avails the first pasuk, M'kolachai, to rule out one which is missing an aver. Yeah, that's if you're assuming Hanichel Madama, that works according to the opinion that treifa in Yoledes, that treifa cannot bear offspring. So then it's covered by this pasuk. Elu Mandamar treifa Yoledes. But according to the position that a treifa can bear offspring. Michael Meimar. So then it's not going to be excluded from l'chayu zera. Okay, so then for that we need Mukal Achai, the first pasuk, and it's unavailable to tell us that mechusar ever is unacceptable. Well, says the Gemara Hamakro, we have the other pasuk, Itcha. Noach, take all these animals Itcha with you, indicating B'daimelach, that they are comparable to Noach. And just as Noach was not a treifa, the animals alongside him are also not going to be treifa. So that's excluded from this pasuk, leaving us the first pasuk, Mukal Achai, to counter the one that's missing, the Rashi Ivar. Well, yeah, compare them to Noach, but how do you know what Noach was? Maybe he himself was a treifa too. No, that can't be. Tamim, ksibbe. The pasuk describes him as a tamim, complete, healthy. Well, maybe it means in terms of personality and character traits. Vidul tamim means bedrachav. He was whole, complete in his ways. Rashi says, Anav, savlon, patient, humble. Tzaddik sibeh, the answer is, for that it says tzaddik, which is descriptive of his personality. And apparently the word tamim is to say that he's physically complete. Well, who says? Maybe these two terms are describing different aspects of his personality. Vidul tamim bedrachav, patient, humble. Tzaddik means b'masa, in terms of his righteous deeds. Man with honesty, with integrity. But not to rule out a treifa. So perhaps Noach was a treifa. And when we compare the animals to Noach Itcha, perhaps means, a treifa. And therefore we need the other pasuk of Mikol Achai to rule out the treifa, leaving us with no pasuk available to rule out the Rashi Yavar, the one that's missing Rashi Yavar. Answer the Gemara, no, you can't say that. You can't suggest Isak Adaitach the Noach Gufei Treifa Hava. According to you, Noach was a treifa. You can't say that, because if so, the Torah is limiting that you can only gather together treifa animals like himself. Unlikely. Mika Amar Le'Noach, is Hashem telling Noach Dekavasach Ayel, bring animals in the same physical state as yourself, meaning they have to be treifa. Shleimim like the ayel, don't bring in healthy animals? Unlikely. The whole point was to have the species survive, and it's unlikely that it has to be specifically a treifa. Okay, so if so, itcha, them like you, indicates that he's not a treifa. So that rules out a treifa from being taken into the teifa. So now it leaves us with the pasuk Mukal Achai to rule out the one that's missing Rashi Ivarim. It's considered fully blemished and unsuitable for carbon. Ask the Gemara, okay, so we've applied this pasuk and that pasuk, we still have that middle pasuk. L'chayu zero, what's that for? Once we know from the word itcha that the animals cannot be treifa, l'chayu zero, what's the point of l'chayu zero? What's that pasuk telling us? The answer is perhaps the animal should be healthy and well, just like you, but who says the animal has to be of age to generate offspring? Perhaps even an old animal past offspring bearing age. Perhaps a sterile animal is also fine, just to keep you company. Madatema. Itcha means letzav sabalmo, to keep you company, that's all. And therefore, afilu zakin, afilu saris, even old, even sterile, would be acceptable, kamashmon? No. L'chayu zera says, the whole point is to have them in the teva for the purpose of survival, to have the species survive. So it has to be of offspringable age, right? Childbearing age. Okay, so bottom line is, a ben Noach was allowed to bring any type of behema v'chaya, zecharim nekevim, tmimim balimum, to provide it's not missing an aver, which is excluded from the word Mikol Achai. Tahir Navle Tmein. provided these animals are of the kosher variety and not the non-kosher variety. Now, at that point in history, there was no kosher, non-kosher. These categories only came about after Matan Torah. They hadn't been established yet at that early point in history. Right? So, although the Torah does tell him, take 7 of the kosher, right? Indicating that those will be used for carbon, perhaps the term tahar has a different definition. It means something totally different than it means today. Since when did they have these distinct categories of Tamei v'Torah like we have today? There's a girsa actually. It's on account of the future. Hashem knew this is going to be considered kosher after the Torah will be given. So already at that time, at that point, Hashem labeled it as such and indicated to Noach to bring only those. Now, how did Noach know which ones are what? He didn't have those signs that are taught in the Torah. The Rav Chizda, as Rav Chizda tells us. He took all the different types of animals, walked them in front of the teva, and whichever one was drawn into the teva, miraculously, he determined to be tahar. Kol shateva kol taseh, the one that the teva draws in, yadu ashutar, that confirms its tahar status. Eina teva kol tasan, the one that the teva did not gather in, that confirms its tamei status. That's one teretz. Rabbi Yavo Amar, take a look at the pasuk. Amar Kra, v'haboim zachar nekeva. They came. Haboim elei. They came on their own. So the ones that belonged there came 7 at a time. So you knew the ones that came 7 were the tahar type, and the one that only showed up as 2 were of the non-tahar type. Amar. Let's go back again. The Brisa says that before the Mishkan was established, everything was brought as an oila, which sounds like that's the only carbon, the only option you have. You can't bring, let's say, a shlamim, which is partially consumed by the kayin, partially by the owner, partially to the mizbeh. You can't bring that. The only thing you could bring before Matan Torah, before Mishkan, was an oila. Oila is in shlamim loy, v'oksivo. Take a look at the pasuk, which describes the events before Matan Torah, a couple of days before Matan Torah. It says, Vayizbechu Zevachim Shlamim L'Hashem Param. Klal Yisrael brought even Shlamims. And at that point, they were not yet considered Bnei Yisrael, still before Matan Torah. Apparently, even a Shlamim is okay at that point in history. Ella rather say like this, Ema, let's relearn the Brisa. Up until now, the Brisa spoke about different types, Behema, Chaya, right, that you can bring. But going forward, the Brisa was referring to people, different types of people. Yisrael, Bnei Noach, Hakoil, Korvo Oilos. All of them, even a Bnei can bring an oila. Okay? So an oila, everybody can bring. Ushlamim, now some take out these words here. Ushlamim, V'atanya, Avashlamim Loikim Oilos. So it reads like this, that everybody, even Bnei Noach, can bring an oila. Okay, that's the first thing. But ulivnei noach, shlamim loy. But a guy can only bring. His options are limited only to an oila. He can't bring a shlamim. Shlamim loy. Only a ben Yisrael can bring a shlamim. Shlamim is a more complex carbon. You have to eat it b'kedusha, right? It has all types of elements to it. Part of it is to the mizbeach, part of it to the kohen, part of it to the owner who eats it as a mitzvah. Only a yid can eat for a mitzvah. Only a guy doesn't have any, right? Says the Gemara, Kimanda Amar lo karvo shlamim bnei noach. So this follows the opinion that a ben noach cannot bring a shlamim. The itma. Actually, it's a whole discussion. Some say yes, some say no. Between Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Yisrael Chanina. Chad Amar karvo shlamim bnei noach. One maintains that even a ben noach can bring a shlamim. Chad Amar lo karvo. No, a guy cannot bring a shlamim. Only an oila. And each one has his respective sources. What's the source to say that a guy can bring a shlamim? Way back, at the time of Hevel. Hevel brought the best of his son, the best of his son, and from its fats, indicating that it's the korban shlamim. Why? Which type of korban only has its fat on the mizbeach and nothing else? Not an oila, right? An oila is completely burnt on the mizbeach. Apparently that's a shlamim. So you see, even Hevel, who had a status of a ben Noach, refers to anybody other than Bnei Yisrael, or even the Bnei Yisrael before Matan Torah. So you see, even he can bring a shlamim. Okay. On the other hand, my time at Madam Aloy Karva, what about the opinion that says that a guy cannot bring a shlamim? Because the pasuk says, Uri Tzafain. This is in Shir Hashirim. Uri Tzafain Aboy Seiman. And we learn as follows. Uri means it's going to be punished. Rashi says, Vayinair Hashem es Mitzrayim. Destroyed, right? Vayinair means to be shaken up. Be shaken up. Who's going to be shaken up? The Goyim. In the time of Mashiach, they're going to get what's due to them. And the pasuk refers to them as Tzafain. Tisnair umosh maseh b'Tzafain. That nation whose activities relate to Tzafain, who could only bring an oila, which is brought on the Tzafain of the Azorah, that nation will be punished. V'tavai umosh maseh b'Tzafain ubedarim. And the nation Klal Yisrael will be invited in. They're a nation whose activities relate to Tzafin and Darim. They can bring both type of karbanos. An oila which is in Tzafin, and a shlamim which can be brought anywhere, which means to say shechted anywhere in the Azorah. So apparently, a guy cannot bring anything other than an oila. Now what does he do with the pasuk by Hevel? Chalvein, which indicates a shlamim, yishmanein the do. It simply means the best of his crop, the best of his herd. But of course, strictly as an oil. Umar nami yaksiv uri tzafin. What does the other shit to do with this pasuk of Shir Hashirim? No, it's unrelated to karbanos. That's describing how Hashem will gather in our nation from all the different areas. Kibbutz Golis the Chsiv is describing the gathering of the exiles coming from all corners of the world, from Tzafin, from Dorim. Ask the Gemara. How can we say that a guy cannot bring a shlamim? Moshe Rabbeinu himself tells Paroi, "Oh, you think you're going to be tough with us? You're going to say you yourself are going to be contributing to our karbanos. You're going to be sending Zevachim and oilos." Now Zevachim means a shlamim. Apparently, it's okay for a guy to, right? And says the Gemara, no, Zevachim means not chila. You're going to send us animals for our consumption. Oilos, that's going to be for a karban, not krova. What about by Yisrael? He brought an oila and Zevachim. Apparently, even a ben Noach can bring a shlamim. Well, actually, that happened after Matan Torah when he converted. Well, that works. That works according to the opinion that that he came after Matan Torah. At that point, we had the status of Bnei Yisrael, and a shlamim was part of the repertoire. But if you hold like the opinion that he came before Matan Torah, and this banquet took place at that point, Michael and how you can explain the shlamim that's on the menu? The Itma, we have a discussion in terms of precisely when he arrived in the desert. Bnei Reb Chia, that's one opinion. Reb Shimon Levi, that's the opposing opinion. Chadam, one maintained Yisrael Koydem Matan Torah. He came before Matan Torah. V'Chadam, the other one maintained Yisrael Achar Matan Torah. So if he came only before, how do you explain the shlamim? Answers the Gemara. Well, according to that opinion, a guy could bring a shlamim. Apparently, you have to say that. Lamad Amar Yisrael Koydem Matan Torah. You have to say Kasavar. He apparently holds shlamim mikri v'nei noach, that a guy can bring a shlamim. So he fits with that part of the puzzle. Katano. Actually, there's a whole machlekes. So we sort of, continue into the Yisrael discussion now. Vayishma Yisrael koyin midyan. So Yisrael heard about some sort of event, and he came running to the midbar to join our nation. Mashmo Shamaba, what event did he hear about? This guy to prompt him to convert. He heard about the vanquishing of Amalek. As the pasuk nearby says, and then afterwards it says he came. Okay, it makes sense that it follows that sequence. No, Matan Torah Shamaba. He heard about the great event, Matan Torah. How did he know about it? Because it was a worldwide event. When the Klal Yisrael received the Torah, the voice of Hashem was reverberating throughout the entire world. From one end to the other. In fact, all the non-Jewish kings were gripped by fear. In their palaces, they turned to Hashem with shira, with songs. Each king in his palace, praising and singing to Hashem. Now, until they figured out what was happening, they ran. They were petrified. Is this another calamity, another mabul? They came to their sage Bilam. They asked him, what's this tumult that we're hearing? Is it another flood? Hashem al Mabul Yashav? Amar Lahem. He says, no, that's a one-time event. It's not going to happen again. There's a girsa here. Shanemar. Okay, Hashem al Mabul Yashav. Amar Lahem. So he says, no, Hashem al Cha'olam. Hashem was established as Malchus, meaning Hashem promised, swore that he's going to continue being the Melech of all creatures, not going to destroy, obliterate the world. Okay, so that's checked off. He's not going to bring another flood. They said, okay, maybe not a flood of water, maybe a flood of fire, a grand fire will destroy us. Maybe he promised no more water. But on fire, maybe perhaps that'll bring Shanamar ki. Hashem punishes with fire. He responded again. It's never going to be a complete obliteration. He already swore. No, so what's this noise? What's this tumult? What's this noise that we heard? He says, I'll tell you the truth. There's Matan Torah going on at this point. Hashem has this very dear treasure in his treasury, which was hidden by him for many, many years. Tat aka'ad doiros, 974 generations, before the world was created. And Rashi explains that when adding the 26 doiros from Adam till Moshe Rabbeinu, we have a total of 1,000 doiros, which corresponds to the pasuk in Tehillim, describing the Torah as being introduced 1,000 years before it was actually given. Ubikesh litna lebanov, and now he wants to give it to his children. Shnama Hashem oiz means the Torah. Rashi says on the bottom line, Torah shema uzin sheyisrael. It's our strength, it's our backbone, it's our life, it's our essence. La'ama yitin. He's giving it, he's granting it, gifting it to his nation. And that's what's happening. Once they heard that, they exclaimed with gratitude. Miyat pasakulam, deep inside, they appreciated the fact that Torah is being given, which is the reason for all our existences. Va'amru Hashem yivarech samei v'Hashem. Rav Lezer Omer Kriyas Yamsuf Shama. He heard about Kriyas Yamsuf. So according to the previous explanation, he came after Matan Torah, of course. But according to this explanation and the one before that, it was actually before Matan Torah. So he heard about Kriyas Yamsuf. And that's why he came running. Heard about the tremendous miracle. And even Rachav, the immoral woman, told these spies that were sent by Yeshua, you should know, you think Kriyas Yamsuf was just a private event. Everybody heard about it. It was a worldwide event. Kishamanu, we heard, they said, Hashem dried up the waters of the Yamsuf. Now, if you compare the language and the psukim here, we find an interesting discrepancy. Why is it that when in describing the event of drying up the Jordan River, when they entered Israel, it says they lost their spirit. They were so flabbergasted, the Goyim, that they would totally lost their bearings. Ruach. But over here, when she describes the fear that gripped the nations during the drying up of the Yam Suf, we find a more elaborate expression. The Ka'amra, or the Chsiv, it says, it adds the word ish. The answer is that they were so intimidated that they couldn't even engage physically in relations. They lost their whole spirit. Now, how did she know what was going on? Because she was involved with men. We learned that every single leader, every single thing, nobody avoided this woman. They were all involved with Rachav, so she knew what was going on. Amru, in fact, this was her life story. She was 10 years old. She also saw Mitzrayim with the Jew when we left Mitzrayim. All throughout the 40 years of the desert, she was involved in Znus. She turned, after 50. This Gaira, she was so taken by the events and everything, she converted. Amra, now she turned to Hashem with a request. Hashem, please accept my tshuva, and in the merit that I saved the Meraglim, the spies, and I left them out. I let them climb out my window, and using this rope, and I hid them on the roof from the pursuers under the pile of flax. And actually, Rashi says this was her equipment that she would use in her sins. She would hide her visitors and let them out through. So basically, she turned it around. She used the same equipment used for sinful activities. This time, it was used for a positive purpose. And please Hashem, turn things over for me and forgive my errant behavior. This Gaira Amra, she asked, I should be forgiven b'schar, and the reward and the merit of the chevel, the rope, chalai in the window, pishtim, and the pile of flax that I used to save the Yidden. Amamar. Okay, so we learned that one had the ability to be makar of all types of karbanos before the Mishkan was established, and even nowadays, when for us Yidden, this is unacceptable. But for the Goyim, they have a free hand. They could be makar of any karbanos today in the privacy of their home, of their mizbeach. Amamar, even nowadays, a guy, Rashayin Lasas Kain, they can proceed and do karbanis to Hashem without these limitations. They can take any behemah tahira, any chayat, etc. How do we know that a guy can bring a karban even outside the Beis Hamikdash? The Tanur Rabbanan, we have a pasuk which warns us against doing shchutei chutz. Davar bnei Yisrael, mitzuv na shchutei chutz. We can't be makar outside of the Beis Hamikdash, but a guy doesn't have that requirement. And therefore, any guy can just decide to build himself an altar, or makar of any kosher animal, of any variety. Although they could, but we can't help them, nor can we do it on their behalf. Also, we can give them instructions. We can have shiurim teaching them how to bring karbanos, and the Mepharshim point out it's no issue of teaching them Torah here, because this is a mitzvah that they have, that that they can do. In fact, you have the story. Okay, so again, Larinu Lushari, Kihad Ifra Hurmuz, there was a woman, Ifra Hurmuz, the mother, Imei, of a Persian king, the Shvar Malka, and she decided to offer a karban to Hashem, but instead of doing it on her own, she sent it to Rava, which was a little bit problematic. Shadra Kurban al Rava, she sent a karban to Rava to take care of for her. Shachalei, and she sent him, a message with the animal, Askuni alei l'shem shemayim, I want you to take this karban and offer it to Hashem. Amalu Rav Safra. So Rava turned to Rav Safra, Ula Rav Acha Bar Huna, to two Talmidim, and he says, do as follows. Find two matching goyim, the same, age, a nice matching crew. Zilu v'dabru, go and find and invite Trey, two Ulmei Gulai, two Goyim Gulai, this of the same age, of similar, V'chazu heicha demask yamasirta. Now you have to find an area which was never used by people, a place where the river washes up, so that place, once the river recedes, that place is typically not used by people. So that's an appropriate place for a mizbeach. B'shach l'tzi v'chadati, make sure to take only unused wood. Use a tool or some sort of shovel to generate a spark and fire. Never before used tool. So it has to be, specific and exclusive for this purpose. And have the goyim put it on the fire and burn it for Hashem. Why did Rava have to, insist on using wood which was pristine, etc.? Come on, according to whose opinion are you going? Shumua, who says that it has to be never before used material. The Sanya, Shumua, Mizbeach, just like Mizbeach and the Beis HaMikdash, was brand new, shleish tamash by hedit, never before used by anybody. Af eitzim shleish tamash by hedit, likewise wood, has to be never before used wood. Is that where you're coming from? But not by a bama. Bama doesn't have that requirement. But Moeder, even if he agrees with bama, by a bama you're free to use any wood. The Sanya. Okay, this takes us to the whole discussion, which starts off with an apparent contradiction between two psukim regarding David HaMelech's purchasing the plot on which eventually Beis HaMikdash was built from a guy called Aravna. And there's a question in terms of how much was paid for it. What was the purchase price? Here it says it was 600 silver, there it says it was 50 gold, back and forth, and eventually we're going to get to the point that we're trying to aim for and prove whether you can use previously used firewood. Let's see. In one pasuk it says, Vayitin David paid La'arnan b'makam shiklei zav. He paid for the plot. How much? Shiklei zav mishkal sheish meyos, 600 gold. Okay. Uksiv, and then it says it was only 50 silver. Uksiv Vayikan David is a guy, and he purchased the granary, Vesabaka, and the animals because it's called chamishim, 50 silver. So it was a 50, it was a 600. Okay, the answer is like this: purchase price was 600. Each shevet, right? All 12 of them contributed 50 each for a total of 600. Okay, so goyvim kol shevet shevet chamishim. He collected 50 from each shevet, shem sheish meyos, which gets you to a total of 600. That's one pshat. Rabbi Yomer has another pshat. Mishum Abba Yosef ben Dustay. Bakar ve'etzim makom mizbeach b'non. 50 was to pay for the animals, for the wood, for the place of the mizbeach. V'chala bayis kuloi b'sheish meyos. The rest of the area for the rest of the Beis HaMikdash cost 600. Rabbi Elazar ben Shammua Omer, yet a third pshat. Bakar ve'etzim makom mizbeach b'non. Right, these materials was 50. V'chala bayis kuloi b'sheish meyos, and the rest of the plot for the rest of the Beis HaMikdash was 600. Tachsiv. As it says, so Arvana initially offered, free of charge, take the animals, take everything, as a gift. V'merigim, certain type of equipment, used for firewood, take. When he heard, what was going on, he got all excited, take, please. I'm donating everything, the animals, the merigim, use them as firewood, the equipment for firewood. No, clearly we see, 1 second, so, that was the initial offering. But David HaMelech did not want to accept a free gift from the guy, right? So he insisted on paying for it, and he paid for the $50. That's the 50, and the 600 was for the plot. In any case, he offered him, pre-used equipment for firewood. Apparently, for the bama, it was fine. Unlike Rava, who insisted on pristine firewood. What does Rava respond to this? He says like this: who says they weren't fresh materials, a brand new piece of equipment never before used? Okay, what exactly is this piece of equipment which was broken down into firewood? This flat board shel turbo, called shel turbo. What does that mean? Ma'mita shel turbo. Is it the carcassa, this block of wood, the carcassa, with cracks and crevices, and Rashi says actually it looks like a goat of some sort. And it has prickly spots, like these pointy, points, and it has sharp points, and it has crevices. What's the purpose? The daishan dishay, you would run it over stalks and turn it into hay, crush it into hay. It was like a crusher. What do we find that a meirig is used to crush? So eventually the goyim will be sort of treated with this meirig, and crushed and defeated and punished. So Rava was teaching his son, and he presented this apparent contradiction between the two psukim. V'Rambile presented him kroya dadi, a contradiction between these two psukim. Is it 50? Is it 600? What was the purchase price? It says he paid Arnon 50. Sorry, it says 600 gold. Then it says he purchased it for 50 silver. Okay, it's that. The answer is, as we said before, so each shaver contributed 50 for a total of 600. But still, there's one thing that's left unanswered at this point. Is it gold or is it silver? Here it says 600 gold, 50 silver. What's going on? Did they handle with gold currency or silver currency? And there it says kesef, hacher it says zav. Rather means like this. Goy v'kesef mishkal shish me'os zav. Rashi explains like this, that he collected silver currency. How much of it? The worth, or the weight of 50, right? The value of 50 shkolim shel zav. So each shevet contributed that much. They offered it in silver, but it was valued based on the 50 gold, and then multiply that by 12, you have 600 gold. Okay, so an interesting discussion regarding the carbonates before Matan Torah, all types and stripes, provided they're of the kosher variety, which was somehow known at that point as well already, right? Noach knew it because of the teva, right, etc. Then an interesting shaila in terms of options. So a Yisrael can bring an oila, shlamim. What about before Matan Torah? Some say strictly oila, some say even shlamim, and each one has his respective sources. Interesting halacha as well, that a goy b'zman hazeh can bring a carbon even outside the Beis Hamikdash, provided that we're not involved. It's his business, not ours. And then according to Rabbah, it has to be pure, pristine, equipment, materials, the covered this carbon. Okay, just this is one more piece in the Gemara. So in the Midbar, if one brings a shlamim, for instance, a kachim kalm, you consume it anywhere in the encampment, anywhere where the Yidden would dwell, within their machne. Doesn't have to be within the machne, anywhere where the Yidden are at that point. There was no specific din, specific requirement to consume the carbon within the machne. You could take it out, really? Esvei Rav Nachman, you had a question of Rav Huna. There were no limitation, there were no machnes, meaning it was okay to take the food, the shlamim outside the machne Yisrael. Well, Tanya, we have a brisa that actually there were 3 distinct zones. And correspondingly, in Eretz Yisrael, they also had those 3 zones. Right? There was the Beis Hamikdash, which is Machne Shechina. We have the Harabayis, which is the Machne Levia, like the Leviim who lived around the Mishkan. Then we have the rest of Yerushalayim, which is like Machne Yisrael, where the Jews camped around the, right? So that corresponded to the 3 Machnes in the Midbar, clearly. There were 3 separate zones and 3 separate halachas. And the karbanis cannot be taken past the 3rd zone, right? But Tani Kashem Shemachna Midbar, just like we have the machna set up in the Midbar. Kach machna, likewise we had a Yerushalayim, as follows. Yerushalayim al-Harabayis, Machne Yisrael encompassed the city until the Harabayis. Harabayis la Shar Nikna, from the Harabayis until Shar Nikna, which was the opening, the entrance to the Yazara, that was considered like Machne Levia, corresponding to Machne Levia. Mekam further in is Machne Shechina, Vehin Klem Shebe Midbar. And the Machne Shechina corresponded to what we call Teicha Kloim, inside the curtains around the Mishkan and the Midbar. So that's the highest, the place of the highest Kedusha. So clearly, in the Midbar they had 3 zones, and you're telling me that you're free to take the shlamim anywhere? Ela Ema, rather, of course, we're in full agreement. Even Rav Huna agrees, of course. What he meant to say is like this: B'chol Malka Machne Yisrael. What happens when they were traveling? They disassembled the Mishkan. They're on the road. They're on the go. What happens then? Says Rav Huna a chiddush. Even at that point, while in transit, the Machne still had their status. So the meat that you're traveling with, the kachim, doesn't become puzzle. It's not like it left the zone. It's still within the zone, even though it's in transit. Pshita, well, of course. Why would I think otherwise? Perhaps in transit, it's no longer in its territory. It's like it's left its territory. It's like it left the area, becomes possible because it was taken out. No. Kamashon, the point is no. There's no psul of yaitze. It's still home. No, how do we know? Maybe it's right. That when it's in transit, it no longer has that status of Machne Yisrael, in which case the meat becomes possible because it left the encampment. The answer is Amakra. The pasuk says V'nasa oyel moed. Even when the oyel moed was in transit, it's still called oyel moed and retains its status. And likewise, the zones surrounding it retain their respective status. Even though he's traveling, oyel moed, he still has the status of oyel moed, and likewise the machnes, and therefore the kachim remain kaddish. Tosfos adds a point. He says he could even eat it while he's traveling. even while in transit, it still has the status of Machne Yisrael, and it's kosher for consumption of Eishlam. All the best to you, and Hatzlacha.